boomers, fuck summer, and fuck America. You want to know another reason out of many why Japan is superior to America? Because they have lawn care, but they don't use fucking ride-on lawnmowers, and they don't do it every single fucking day. Americans hiring someone like $70 an hour to ride around on their stupid fucking ride-on lawnmowers and spew diesel fumes everywhere 5 times a week is the worst shit ever invented. If I had a time machine, I would go back in time and, I don't know. I don't know how you stop American lawn care from becoming what it is right now, even if you have a time machine. Can I invade John Deere's house and tell him to not invent the lawnmower? I don't know how you fucking stop that. Boomers love their useless lawns. There is no generation with more stupid fucking worthless culture than the boomers. Everything that they love has just been a net negative for society. And lawns are like the forefront of it. Including all the other stupid fucking activities they have to do on their lawns, like golf and shit. I hope we look back on this time period and just be like, children, whatever you do, don't grow up and be like the boomers. Stop. You must kill Luis the Sun King. I mean... We just need to stop Americans from importing stupid European fucking culture to America. As proud as Americans are about being America strong and shit, and how we've won all the wars and all that stuff, apparently not copying English lawn culture and something was too much to ask from them, so we're stuck in this fucking awful situation. Where we have to listen to the boomer lawn care machine every single day. Oh, you'd be doing multiple favors by murdering him? Yeah, he didn't exactly have a great impact on society. Holy fuck. I really don't want to have to close the window, but whatever. It's probably not going to make the room any less hot. Oh, maybe if we restricted immigration like Trump is trying to do, at least all the white boomers wouldn't have to they'd have to do their own lawn care themselves instead of hiring like 10,000 Mexican landscapers and paying them. And then maybe we would have a little less lawn, but who am I kidding? Boomers fucking love doing lawn care themselves. It wouldn't make a difference. Women would be giving birth squatting instead of laying down like they do now, thanks Louis, you weird birth fetishist. Did he invent that just so he could see the baby's head coming out of vagina or something? My mother, as a feminist, is constantly complaining about how the current birthing system is built around the comfort of the doctors instead of the comfort of the female and the efficiency. As if she had, you know, 10 children or something like that, when in fact she only had one, and apparently I came out incredibly easily, so I don't really think it's a big deal. We're just gonna slice women open anyways. Well, we're off to a good start in the stream. That we've come to the conclusion that we should be murdering French aristocrats when we get our hands on our time machine. We have to correct history. Hitler can wait. What's up, guys? Today's stream is late because I was having a date. You wouldn't, with a real woman, you wouldn't understand. Reddit. No, I was late because I was working on a different page and I wanted to finish the inking on that page. So manga process 2 is being delayed for manga process 1. This is the life of drawing manga. Fuck my life. What is the secret of drawing big fat titties? I can actually provide you with real advice for this. The secret is that you want to draw the torso and the rib cage first, and then think about the position in terms of three-dimensional space the body is, and then draw the boobs as soft sacks of liquid, basically as soft objects hanging off the chest, instead of thinking of them as just like circles. This is very important to draw proper soft breasts. And the softness is going to change depending on the age of the female and how big they are and stuff. Oh my god, he is grinding. He is finally being serious. Secret training. Unfortunately, I have been serious. We don't have any sort of situation in which I take off my leg weights and they form a giant crater on the ground. And you guys see that I've only been using 10% of my power and I've been walking around with 10-ton weights this entire time. The truth is, the shit that you see right now is me at going full strength, and we're still not really close to Freezer's level, so we're all gonna fucking die. That's the Dragon Ball metaphor right here. Supple, plumpy mounds. What do you think about these boobs right here, chat? How does this image make you feel? Please explain your ideas about Fubuki's breasts in 3 paragraphs. Thank you. Hangers. One step at a time. You just have to not think too much about how much work this shit takes and whether you're actually good enough to get it done. Something feels off. They're very pointy. Breast pointiness often comes from either stylization or the type of bra. Because breasts are round and soft, they often mold to fit the shape of the bra they are in or the shirt that they are in. Hey Jude, thanks for the Prime sub. I appreciate the support. I am grinding, I'm grinding, I'm grinding. Hard boobs are hot if drawn properly. As someone whose waifu is Taimanin Asagi of the Taimanin franchise, I agree with this. Manga is all about stylization and boobs are no exception. Sometimes it's correct to have them feel soft and drag and dangle depending on gravity. And sometimes it's good to have them be extremely unrealistically perky and stick out as well. Just like shonen manga, boobs are all about the dreams that you see in your mind as you die. So, don't ever give up on your dreams, chat. If you want boobs to be impossibly hard and spiky and have extremely hard nipples that could poke your eyeball out, don't give up. Somewhere they exist in your mind. Do you hate the way Raita draws boobs? I just don't really care about Raita's content. I think he's a pretty talented character designer, I guess. But, I mean, he hasn't drawn anything besides the Magical Girl series for like the last 15 years, so it's hard for me to give a fuck. How many pages are you at now? I think we're going to have to ban that question because it's both humiliating and depressing. It's going to be the third banned topic after futa and feet is how much progress have you made? Boobs like hair can really define a character. True. That's why going forward, all of the characters in my manga will be extremely flat. I will go down as the anime artist who only draws grown women with flat chests. Just kidding, there's lots of people who like flat chests besides me. Why are we banning futa? Because BB doesn't like that genre? Yes. We've already discussed this before. And we've come to the conclusion that futa fetishists are awful and they can fucking go to hell. So we're not going to allow them to type shit in chat. It's more because futa is something that can be added to a female character I've already drawn. So there's going to be endless people just being like, streamer, I see you've drawn a very attractive female, but have you ever considered that she would be better off with a large futa penis? And then I have to ban you because it pisses me off. Thank you. Flat, where do they store men's hopes and dreams? With their own. It's like that song, Fairy Tale of New York. They keep their dreams with their own. They build their dreams around you. That's why flat girls are better. Always store them in the trunk with the junk. Honestly, I don't like huge bubbly asses either. Japanese women don't have giant bubbly asses, so for that reason it's a good... If you're an ass man and you like those big Brazilian bunda butts, you cannot live in Japan because that stuff is not readily available to you. You should just give up. You can find a lot of things in Japan, but bunda is not one of them. Ball salivating at the thought of a flat, assless Japanese woman with hair covering her eyebrows. I was working out at Planet Fitness last night, and a woman was wearing short shorts, as they tend to do. And usually this would be good, but she had a lot of cellulite on her thighs and ass. I was just thinking about how unattractive cellulite was. So if having a large ass means having more fat and more cellulite and more stuff that can hang, I think I'd prefer to not have it at all. I just find it very unattractive. So for that reason, I'd prefer to have a Japanese woman with no boobs and flat ass. and hair bang covering her eyes. Superior flat jeans. Have you beat Consort Radon? I either finish 1/4 of a page by drawing for 12 hours, or I beat one boss in Elden Ring by playing it for 12 hours. It's your choice, chat. You can't have it both ways. You can't have the gamer streamer content and also the artist content at the same time. Actually, I'm exaggerating. I've been kind of smashing a lot of the Elden Ring DLC bosses because I'm not shying away from using extreme versions of cheese, so it hasn't been that difficult for me. The rot is too powerful. Once the rot damage gets going, they're fucking fucked, so... More Elden Ring streams, please? No, fuck off. How about that? Yeah. How about I tell you to fuck off because I'm not really playing that much Elden Ring. You will not cheese Radon in 12 hours with that setup, trust me. Yes, I will. He's not immune to rot. And I have Giga Shielding. People have already confirmed that he dies from rot, so I'm not particularly worried. He is immune to statuses on phase 2. Whatever, man. I'm fucking like level 300 at this point. I know everyone's like, oh, it's gonna be so hard, but they're probably like using a broken straight sword and shit. Did you go to the Shaman Village and get the special items? No, I haven't been playing it at all. Guys, I know you people are all just like fucking loser gamers on Reddit and shit, but unlike you, I have more important things to do, like draw elf titties. Also, I've been playing a little bit of First Descendant. I played about 6 hours of First Descendant and was doing a little bit of grinding, and then I realized that my reward for grinding in the Korean grinding game is the opportunity to grind some more. And I was like, maybe it's time to stop grinding. He is not immune. His status is reset in phase transition. Yeah, I didn't think he would be immune. Besides, if one form of cheese doesn't work, I'll just use a different form of cheese. I know by browsing 4chan that just having enough strength to use Great Shields trivializes a lot of the DLC, so I'm not particularly worried. I'll just fucking fat roll and block everything and then just heal through everything. Problem solved. Thank you, Miyazaki. Bravo. What would you do if your fingers all broke and you were out of commission for like a month? As an artist, hand injuries were a horrific fear. If I was out for a month, then I wouldn't have to draw, I guess. I mean, a month isn't that big a deal. I broke my finger, my pinky finger, riding my bicycle. And it was a lot more than a month, I think. Just breaking one finger, basically... You can't really use that hand to do a lot of writing and shit because they have to immobilize your entire hand, all the fingers on your hand, to splint it. So even one finger, it doesn't have to be all your fingers. Even one finger, you can't write or draw or shit like that, I believe. It's been a while, but I think that's how it works. In case has a serious problem with his hand and had to stop drawing Alfie. I've never really had any hand problems. I hear a lot of people get carpal tunnel and shit from drawing too much, but don't really care. What if you break both of your arms? Then I guess my hot stepmother is going to have to show up at the hospital and jack me off. Like my Korean manhwa hentai. Don't let her know that I don't need my arms to jack off because I use this different masturbation technique. That's a secret between us, chat. Also, I don't really care about in-case, not gonna lie. I've tried to jack off to in-case material before and it didn't work, so... Hentai artists where I can't get to ejaculation, they just don't interest me. Which is like 99% of Western artists, to be honest. If we're not coming, we're not paying attention. I don't like his work for masturbating, but he is quite talented. He has a high level of polish to the point that he's one of like the 6 different artists that the AI prompters specifically make LoRa's to copy the shit. However, I don't really care about polish very much. I don't care if Togashi is publishing his manga in a nationally syndicated magazine with in storyboard form with no backgrounds and just scribbles and shit like that. It doesn't really bother me. Are you masturbating with your mind? No. I'm feeling a very sudden desire to listen to Nintendo music. Nintendo Chill. Nintendo music works well as elevator music? Yeah. I guess. Just press the lo-fi button and they can't DMCA your ass, I guess. Just put a little bit of record scratches into the background. Rest in peace, Shelley Duvall. I can't remember who Shelley Duvall is. Oh, that person. 75. She lived long enough. Screaming Door Lady? Yeah, she was in a few other things besides that, but that's what she'll be remembered for. Her face when I break down her toilet door with my axe. Did you hear about Boogie2988 lying about cancer to scam his fans? Yeah, I saw some YouTubers talking about it because YouTubers fucking love gossip. I was just thinking about how most of the people that I have known that were grossly obese were just horrible human beings. In fact, I couldn't think of a person who was grossly obese that wasn't a horrible human being. Not that I've known too many of those people because I try and avoid them. But some of the biggest sociopaths that I've known were had serious weight problems. And I was thinking how there's probably some sort of correlation between not being willing to have the personal discipline to not overeat and also, you know, lying. If you're lying to yourself about how healthy you are or how you should live your life, you're probably lying to other people as well. That's basically what I want to say. In other words, what I want to say is if you're a fat fuck, you're fucking horrible. And even if you're not lying to me to my face, then you can still fuck off because you're too big and you're taking up space. Yeah, I have zero sympathy to someone who is like in that obesity range. I don't care how hard it is. Fucking lose some weight. You're in my way. You're unpleasant to look at. You're taking up 2 seats on the bus. Fuck off. I don't care. If Bro wasn't exploiting his health issue, his fame would have died out 10 years ago. I don't know. Once you make it in streaming, it's like you're already in the club, and people will continue to watch you. Once you reach a certain level of fame, it's kind of hard to not be famous anymore on the internet. Among that, like, incestuous streaming club, I think he would still have been famous. Fuck, man. We have guys like... Case in point, remember Jared? Jared was a fat fuck who all he was successful at was stopping being a fat fuck. Which, if you think about it, that should only put him at the starting line of everybody else, and yet he was applauded as being like a huge success story because he stopped being a fat fuck when everyone else has not been a fat fuck to begin with. And then it turned out, surprise, surprise, that he was a horrible person. Wow, shocking. BB Boogie and his child wife. I almost said BB and his child wife. I guess I'm not much of a gamer because I don't have a child girlfriend, but Boogie is a gamer, so he gets one, I guess. Isn't she like 16 or 18 or something? She's like barely legal, right? Good for him, I guess. Keep on lying about your cancer. Keep on fucking your child wife. Keep on trying to guilt trip people to buy your NFT cryptocurrency. You're gonna be dead in about 20 years. I was gonna say you're gonna be dead in 5 years because he keeps on saying that shit, but the truth is that grossly overweight people don't necessarily die as soon as you'd hope they would. Subway mentioned check off your bingo cards. True. Usually I mention it in terms of like where I'm going to work when I fail as a manga artist, but in this case I mentioned it in the terms of Jared. Now American fast food's so expensive it is easier to not be a fat fuck. Yeah, but the fat people who buy American fast food also have no sort of financial responsibility as well as personal responsibility, so they just go into credit card debt to continue being fat. Also, they can, a lot of them are capable of eating at home because they have a feeder that allows them to continue to be fat. Most people that are grossly overweight continue to be grossly overweight because they have people who cooperate in their daily life. Sometimes they just make do just on their fast food budget, but a lot of them have someone to cook for them. Is Boogie worse than DSP? At this point, probably, right? Not that I really care. I think because Boogie became famous as this sort of Mr. Rogers best guy next door that's just an all-around good guy, and DSP became famous for being shitty at video games. We come into their streams with different expectations. The feeding kink must be the most fucked up in my opinion. Yeah, it's a weird ass shit. It's always like one grossly overweight person and one skinny ass person who's keeps on feeding them food and helps them not overcome their addiction. Every internet famous person becomes a degenerate? Not really. It's just that we only talk about the degenerate ones. We don't talk about, I don't know, George Clooney unless he's writing letters to the Democratic Party being like, we have to give up on Biden and shit like that. Because if he's not doing something like that, his life is entirely unremarkable. All he's doing is making billions of dollars by endorsing coffee machines and being extremely attractive and married to a non-Hollywood actress and stuff like that, so we don't talk about it. We like talking about the train wrecks, not the people who are normal. A lot of people that live lives like that are supported by family members. Exactly. They're also... It's not always their family members' fault, because those people are often extremely manipulative and are good at getting what they want. Hence why I often say that obese people are awful, because, you know, they manipulate people so they continue to be obese. But he's right. He is right. I mean, we all know that. I'll buy an Xbox so I can have a Blu-ray player. Make sure you buy an Xbox One. And going forward, don't buy an Xbox 360. Remember when you could watch HD DVDs instead of Blu-rays on your Xbox 360? It was a different time, fellow Zoomers. I'm glad at least Blu-ray won, because it was clearly the superior format. We didn't have a VHS versus beta situation, at least. What about puppy play and adult baby? At least it doesn't affect their health. Depends on the size of the dildo they're sticking up their ass. It can affect their health. PS2 was my first DVD player. It was everyone's first DVD player, including mine, which is why 10 million of them sold. Not 10 million, 100 million of PS2 sold. So we could all watch our American Pie DVDs in 1999. My child brain could not comprehend my consoles could play DVDs. If you truly want your brain to explode, wait till you find out that your PlayStation 1 could also play CDs. Your PlayStation 2 could play CDs and DVDs. What a world. What about sticking a CD inside your PS1 so you could get new monsters in Monster Rancher? That shit was crazy. We haven't had games like that in a very long time, unfortunately. Where it's basically like a toy gimmick. Wait, what music was this? Super famous music, right? Oh, it's Pokemon 209? I can't remember. It's been a while since I played anything Pokemon related. I wish I could enjoy Nintendo still, but unfortunately I've grown up and become an adult. Disney Infinity was the last. Was that like a Skylanders attempt or some shit? I don't know. Does the Switch have any kind of amiibo compatibility? I don't think so. It does, but it's not like they add anything meaningful. Did they ever add anything meaningful to begin with? I remember seeing the threads on 4chan by Nintendo Files when the amiibo gimmick first came out, and the amount of cope that they had to use to justify essentially having an extra layer of DLC content in which they have to buy a fucking shitty action figure. And they were like, no, but it's a really well-made action figure. The amount of cope that grown men were doing was pretty crazy. Funny cardboard. It's been a while since we've had the funny cardboard moment. The Labo was unreal. How many of you guys actually owned any Nintendo cardboard products? Is there anyone in chat that owned and played with your Nintendo Labo? That's the kind of shit where you would buy it for your kid on Christmas and he'd be super excited for like 3 hours, and then you'd have to build the cardboard for him and he'd play with it for like 30 minutes and he would never touch it again, and like 2 years later you'd find the discarded corpse of the Nintendo Labo cardboard toy behind a closet door or some shit like, and it's like, holy shit, I remember that. That was 2 years ago. Bought your 5-year-old $100 cardboard. Parents are stupid like that, so it wouldn't be the first time. The other day I was buying bagels at the bagel shop, and there was a bookstore right next to the bagel shop, and they had books outside for you to check out, and one of the books was Greek Myths Gender Reversed. So it was just the most famous Greek myths that we all know, except this fucking liberal snowflake authors had the amazing idea of just changing the names of all the characters from male to female. So there was like, no, please, hey DC, don't kidnap my spring god male boy toy butt and drag me off to hell and rape my ass all year round. That would be so horrible. And I was just thinking, like, everybody can get away with publishing a children's book. There isn't any kind of, like, gatekeeping. Literal Who's just have, like, an idea of, like, I'm a celebrity, I should publish a children's book. And it doesn't fucking matter. And B, I was just thinking about how children's books and children's toys and stuff is a really weird, distorted market where you're actually selling shit to the parents and what they want their children to be and what their children to be reading instead of what kids actually want to read. You're actually just marketing everything to the parents unless it's like you get to like young adult fiction. But at the child stage, kids don't have any of their own money and they don't have any sort of preferences. So the entire game of children's books is producing something that the parents want to give their kids and want to brainwash their kids with. It's kind of fucked up if you think about it. You're not actually selling to your customers. So Zeus was still graping, right? I don't think there was any Zeus content in it, but yes. There was a lot of sexy fuckboys getting dragged off to hell by hot older women. Honestly, all it did was just reinforce the fact that guys are like, no, please, 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 hag goddess of the underworld, don't fuck me, no. That's why TCGs aren't kid games. TCGs aren't kid games because the unshowered, sweaty Redditor professional card player walks into the local card shop and absolutely dominates these children and puts them in their place. Based otaku. The parents are the customers, LOL. They sure are. Please, evil lady, don't imprison and molest me. Please, don't make me your husband. No, Mr. Hades. Or I guess it's Mrs. I can't remember what word it was. Hadisia or some shit was what the term they were using. It's from the Men Can't Be Raped Mentally Cool. It wasn't even that way. It was just like the most basic shit where they took the stories that we all know and they just swapped genders. That's it. There was zero creativity. It was like some stupid internet manga artist out there who just takes existing tropes and does the opposite. I won't name his name, but it was that level of a lack of talent. You know, like elves being hungry for sex from orcs. So even if you're completely a talentless hack, you can publish a children's book. It's been confirmed. They had Medusa in there. So Medusa was, I don't know, a guy with snakes for hair, and sexy female, what's her name, shows up and chops off his head. It really was the most basic, just swap all the genders without any kind of, you know, this will change the story in any way. No, just change the genders. The most basic level shit. You know, standard 2020s liberals. There are no difference between races. There are no difference between genders. There are no difference between how different people react to different things. We're just gonna stick in token black person in our Amazon Prime TV show. We're just gonna stick in black lesbians in our Amazon Prime TV show. That mentality. Just remember, folks, Stephanie Meyer got her work published. True. I mean, there's a lot of published female authors who we would all be better off if they didn't get their stuff published, but it is what it is. Make them absolute Mary Sues that the entire show bends in favor towards. It is interesting when if you think about it as a storyteller, when a main character becomes a Mary Sue or a Mary Stu, and when it doesn't, right? Because as someone who writes stories, you're instructed that the story is supposed to be focused on the main character, and most stories kind of fail. One of the most common ways in which stories fail is when it loses focus of the main character and the narrative isn't tight anymore. So the question is, in what situations does it become too main character focused? I think what's really bad is you don't have characters that are there to provide like an opposite opinion to the main character, even if the story is focused around the main character. You need to have someone who is gonna act as the straight man and be like, actually no, that's a bad idea. One Piece is an example of that. It wasn't that way for quite a while, but One Piece has kind of become bloated. What you just said about stories is actively misogynistic, Baal. Focusing on goal and plot is inherently toxic. True. I mean, I think Mary Sue's still have the focus on the goal and plot. It's just like, in fact, I don't know. I don't read enough Mary Sue literature, so what would be like the most prominent example of a Mary Sue that was like popular in current modern culture? Because I've seen the complaint quite a bit. But what's like the most obvious example right now? Ruby? Yeah, I haven't consumed any Ruby. I thought there was an omnibus between all four of the characters though. Free Ren? I haven't consumed any Free Ren, but I'm pretty sure that's incorrect as well. Bella from Twilight? I have consumed enough Twilight to say that it's not a Mary Sue character. Ray? Everyone says Ray, usually. I think it just comes down to when you can kind of feel the self-insert energy from the author is when it just becomes a Mary Sue. It's obviously just like a feeling thing instead of something that you can objectively like analyze, like we're in the Mary Sue territory. But when you feel like, oh, I bet the author is self-inserting as this character, and they're also like completely not open to criticism on their daily life. Ray is very Mary Sue, literally just magically gets good. But is that what becomes, what makes a Mary Sue a Mary Sue? Bella is so lacking in personality that any chick can map themselves on her, and that's really the only reason why Twilight got big. Isn't that just standard main character shit, though? By that, if you're gonna call that a Mary Sue, then literally every shonen romance harem protagonist has to be a Mary Sue because he's, you know, a featureless blob. So the readers can self-insert as, I am this boring main character who all the girls fall in love with. There are multiple factors. Alright, we can actually go on line to see the definition of a Mary Sue. Let's see what internet says. Mary Sue definition. Dictionary, Oxford Languages. Originally in fan fiction, a type of female character is depicted as unrealistically lacking in flaws or weaknesses. What is a good example of a Mary Sue? Rey from Star Wars. This is the first example that Google gives us. Mary Sue is often an author's idealized self-insertion. This is the Wikipedia. I think that's what's really important. Mary Sue is an character archetype in fiction, usually a young woman who is often portrayed as inexplicably competent across all domains, gifted with unique talents or powers, liked or respected by most other characters, unrealistically free of weaknesses, extremely attractive, innately virtuous, and generally lacking meaningful character flaws. Usually female and almost always the main character, Mary Sue is often an author's idealized self-insertion and may serve as a form of wish fulfillment. Mary Sue's stories are often written by adolescent authors. I feel like the core difference between a Mary Sue and a main character is that the readers are not capable of self-inserting on the character because they can feel the flavor of the author too strongly. You can see the author directly behind the character, and you can kind of feel the author's fingerprints all over the character and the author's desire for acceptance on the character, instead of a main character that exists for the self-insertion of the readers. It becomes the self-insertion of the author. I think that's how you should think about it. For example, I was just talking about romance characters in Japanese like manga and stuff, for example. Those guys aren't going to be Mary Sue's because they almost always have character flaws. A huge trope of the romance genre in manga, for example, is you have a guy who is not only unremarkable, but he also has a lot of flaws, and everyone around him is like, why does the hottest girl in school like this guy? It's like, despite his flaws, every girl wants to jump on his dick. That's the core trope of romance MCs. Nice guys. Why do all the girls always go for the bad boys instead of the nice guys? Cries in Reddit. But in the case of manga, it's the opposite. All 20 girls jumping in that nice guy harem. Often coincides with OC syndrome. Yeah. Not all MC need to be self-inserted. Yeah, I'm just talking about the difference between self-insertion purpose MC versus ones that are disliked as Mary Sue's. Final Fantasy 13 Lightning. Disagree. Honestly, it doesn't matter whether Lightning is a Mary Sue or not, because the game is ass, and I'm not going to play it long enough to make that distinction. Also, she's probably not a self-insertion character for the creator. She's his wife. My perfect waifu. Lightning is just a bad character. Honestly, I don't care if she's a bad character or not, because the game is a bad video game. I can't even get to the point where we determine whether she's a good character or not, because the game is too fucking boring. I remember that when I started playing Final Fantasy 13, I didn't have a high-definition television at the time. And I couldn't even read all the text in the menus, and I was like, what the fuck? Because if you remember, Final Fantasy 13 has this very diagonal text that's kind of hard to read, and it was literally illegible on the TV that I was playing, and I was just like, what the fuck is this shit? And I tried to keep on playing, but even when I was able to somehow make out the text by approaching the TV to look at it with my face like 2 centimeters from it, it was still not a good game, so, you know, who the fuck cares? It's a bad video game! I see a lot of Baal and Wilford Dickard. You'll see more about his character. He has some aspects that are related to me and other aspects that are not. Because it's very hard to write a character that's completely different from you, right? Actually, that's not true. It's really easy to write Grak because he's a dwarf. Dwarfs are incredibly easy to write. They're just like my hammer, my liquor, my mountain. Love my hammer, love my mountain. Easy. Wilford Dickard is a character if I actually had some amount of empathy, and when a girl needed me to be there for her emotionally, I actually would show up, even if I'm usually emotionally distant. It's like in shonen manga when everybody is in peril and they really, really need the main character to show up and save their ass. The main character shows up. Whereas if I was that main character, I would have already gone home and gone to bed, and I would never show up, and all my friends would be dead. So Wilford Dickard is kind of like me, except if I actually came through when people needed me to come through. Isn't Ball a 6'3" Giga Chad muscle man who can't fit in a regular chair? Yes. I'm too muscular. Do we get your manga for GTA 6? You already got Chapter 1. Are you talking about Chapter 2 or like the entire thing? Because the entire thing is definitely not coming out before GTA 6. Chapter 2 is definitely coming out before GTA 6. The main character from Promised Neverland is a Mary Sue. From what I remember, she's basically a female Steven. I have not read a single chapter from Promised Neverland, and I keep on seeing like YouTube retrospectives about it, like how good it was and then how it completely dropped the ball and stuff. All I've seen about Promised Neverland is how people were disappointed in it, which means that it had a period in which people were actually into it and then it fucked up. Does the goddess Wilford worship also want to get under his pants too? The answer is no, because she's the goddess of order. So she does not try and fuck her paladins. However, the main goddesses of my canon universe tend to have like a direct oppositional force. So if there's a goddess of order, that means there's a goddess of chaos, and you can guess what that means. An anime dropping the ball, that would never happen. I believe Promised Neverland dropped the ball in the manga stage before the anime stage, but there's multiple things that can go wrong, of course, at every point. What do you mean she saved the day in both games? Game is called Lightning Returns. I played Final Fantasy 13 for, I think, an hour and a half. And that was an hour and a half too many. I paid like 2,000 yen for it, used in Japan at the time. I think that was when I truly knew that Square Enix was in deep, deep trouble. Because Final Fantasy XII was actually pretty good. It wasn't great. And it, narrative-wise, it wasn't particularly satisfying. But the gameplay was fun, and I liked the world. And I was like, yeah, 13 might be better. And I had a bad feeling about 13, and oh boy. 13 is so bad that, like, I can't even get to the point where I can discuss all the issues it has, because I can't even play the game long enough to even get to make like specific criticisms. It's like if you started watching someone's home videos shitty amateur movie and everything about it from the camera work to the sound editing to everything is so inherently shitty, you can't even like bring yourself to watch it long enough to the point where you can start criticizing the plot. That's how bad it is. Final Fantasy XII was the best looking PS2 game. It really is. The cities are huge. The music is good. The atmosphere is good. It's a shame that the plot is a combination of a blatant Star Wars ripoff. Actually, if you want a good example of a game that fails because there isn't a strong central character and the story isn't centered around the strong central character, Vaughn in Final Fantasy XII is an excellent example of that. They couldn't decide who was the main character in Final Fantasy XII, and the entire narrative hurts as a result. Therefore, it's a shitty game because it's not memorable. You can have a game with a shitty narrative that has good enough gameplay that keeps you occupied to consider it to be an okay game. For it to be a great game, everything has to be good, but there's multiple aspects of manga, or not manga, of video games that make it different from manga. So you can get away with having a shitty plot. Obviously, there's less wiggle room if it's something that's plot heavy like an RPG, but ever seen those Valentine's threads with Vaughn? That's basically Final Fantasy XII abridged. If they had just decided who was the main character, whether it was Balthier or Vaughn, and then focused the plot around it, instead of like jumping around and it just being around for the ride, it would have been a much better story. However, it would have still been just like discount Star Wars, unfortunately, so I thought Vaughn and Penelo were made for teens and kids. I don't know. I'm not really interested in the specifics of how Final Fantasy XII lost its way, but it definitely did lose its way. But I had a lot of fun with the whole Gambit system and like setting up your programming and stuff like that. It had its redeeming features to it. I'm looking forward to playing Unicorn Overlord. Probably more than looking forward to playing Baldur's Gate 3. Both of which are on my eventually I will play them list. Final Fantasy IX's other extreme takes up the ass in gameplay but has memorable characters and moments. I think Final Fantasy IX's gameplay is good, honestly. I think the system of you learn your abilities, it has a lot of abilities to learn, and they all have pretty different dramatic effects. And then the core tension of you have equipment, but it takes a while to memorize the ability. So you have to decide whether you're going to switch to your better equipment or continue to equip the thing so you can get the ability. I think that's a really good gameplay mechanic that is simple, but it has a good understanding of the core tension behind RPGs, of updating your character's levels versus updating your character's equipment and stuff like that. It is a slog to play. It's too slow compared to something like Final Fantasy V where you can build your characters how you want. You can build your Final Fantasy IX characters how you want. I think it's a good balance of they have jobs and they have unique roles, but then there's also some amount of customability. I will not say anything bad about Final Fantasy IX except the last boss. That's the only ding it gets from me. Everything else about it is, I think, a masterpiece, and I would give anything to go back to that era of Square Enix. I have only fond memories for that era. You play it once? I've played it twice, and I want to play it a third time. I played it once in English and played it once in Japanese. It has a pretty good translation as well, which cannot be said for Final Fantasy VIII and VII. Final Fantasy VII's translation and Xenogears' translation are absolutely horrendous. They're like a crime against humanity. especially Xenogears, but as someone who is a professional translator, I can see all the mistakes they made in very specific ways. It's really, really bad. Necron is a complete asshole. I understand that they wanted to end the game with some kind of allusion toward light and darkness and the meaning of life and shit like that, but they didn't really have to jam that in there. Considering everything about the game is extremely good, it's a shame that they kind of had to shit on the whole thing at the end by having a weird-ass last boss that looks like Pepsi Man. Pepsi Man! Think about how none of the Gen Z Zoomers will remember Pepsi Man once we're dead and gone. We have to carry on his memory and his dedication to drinking Pepsi. Did you know that there is a Pepsi woman and her commercial has very visible boob jiggling? No. But I'm ready to masturbate today. So I think I know what we're going to be looking up when I want to jack it. I will masturbate to the character, the corporate character for Pepsi. No one can stop me. It is a skin-tight jumpsuit, so... You can't loot mascots? Wrong. Mascots are the first things that are going to get looted when I become president. Just jacking off to Miss Pac-Man every day. Is it allowed to share YouTube links? No, but I'm pretty sure I can find it. I miss my childhood in the 90s and early 2000s where every brand had an aggressive amount of mascots. They were like, oh, we want to sell sugar water, we better have a cool mascot. We want to get kids to start smoking, we better have a cool mascot. I don't see any cool mascots marketed to kids. Like, Where's Vaping Guy? Who's just like, hey kids, instead of buying cigarettes, you should try vaping. Delicious. Creme brulee flavored nicotine. The green M&M looking kind of cute though. I can't believe they reduced her sex appeal. I'll never forgive them. Those damn liberals taking away the green M&Ms, go-go boots. Kids get their mascot fix from Elsa Gate vids now. Chill as fuck. Sexy. It's so misogynistic to have the diet lemon Pepsi be a female instead of male. They're saying that women have to drink their fucking diet soda or else they'll be fat. We've come full circle because I started the stream by calling obese people fat fucks and told them to get thin. So if you're a woman, make sure you drink your diet lemon Pepsi as marketed to you by Pepsi Woman instead of Pepsi Man. There was already a Diet Pepsi Man, though. He was silver instead of blue. I think the Pepsi Woman was like lemon something Pepsi. Pepsi has a lot of weird-ass flavors that Coca-Cola doesn't. Like cucumber and shit. Have you heard that Dr. Pepper has passed Pepsi as the second most popular soft drink in America? I can't remember if it was America or the world, but... yeah. It's like Coke is heads above everything else, but like, then you have a bunch of things that are in the same zone, which is like Pepsi and Dr. Pepper and shit like that. But Dr. Pepper is officially #2 now. You guys have cucumber Pepsi in the US? No, I think you only got it in Japan for a limited amount of time. Japan had weird-ass Pepsi flavors, but Japan is like that. Japan product development departments will go out of their way to create things that you're like, why did you create that? The answer is because we talk about it 10 years later. The glory days of Pepsi. Dr. Pepper is trash, what the hell? I kind of like Dr. Pepper. It's pretty good, I think. When you want that cough syrup taste, it's not like... See, that's the problem with Pepsi and Coke. They taste different, but they don't taste different enough that they're like completely different experiences. Whereas, if you want Dr. Pepper, there isn't really anything that tastes like Dr. Pepper besides Dr. Pepper, so... You know, it has its fan base locked down pretty hard. Do you like Squirt? I've had Squirt like twice in my life. It was never really a big thing for me. Oh, you mean when I make my girlfriend squirt with my incredible sexual techniques? No, I hate that as well. I keep on telling her to stop soiling the bed sheets, but she won't listen. Dr. Pepper tastes like Coke left out in the sun for a day. I don't know. I feel like Dr. Pepper tastes like Coke made by someone who was high on drugs or something. And it was like, I can improve the flavor of Coke. I just need to add these 32 different spices to it. Dr. Pepper tastes like medicine built by someone who thought that Coke was like the best thing in the world, but he also had to mask the flavor of whatever steroids was in his drinkable medicine. So he created something that was vaguely like Coke, but also tastes weird. I don't know, it definitely has a cough syrup kind of feeling to it, if you ask me. No, your futon is an inanimate object, ball. Wrong. It becomes very animated when I'm smashing my cock into it. It moves all around. If my futon is an inanimate object, then why does it keep on coming off my mattress? Checkmate, atheists. I miss Cherry Coke, to be honest. I thought that we still had Cherry Coke. Can you not buy Cherry Coke? These things come and go. They're always like, Cherry Coke is back! I always thought Dr. Pepper tasted like what I imagine pepper spray smells like. I've never smelled pepper spray. If you ever get pepper sprayed, you'll very much wish that they had sprayed you with Dr. Pepper instead of the actual pepper spray, because your eyes will be burning and you will be in pain. Pepper spray tastes and smells like pain and burning. It doesn't taste like Dr. Pepper. What the fuck are you talking about? What would Futon-chan's hair color would be? The same color as the sheets, which right now are black. Blackish blue. So it would be like the Kudere serious student class president type character, I guess. With black/blue hair. You might, but we don't have it here in Hungary anymore. I can look it up. You're asking for Cherry Coke. Looks pretty available. It says it's in stock, so yeah, I think it's available. What about vanilla Coke? Vanilla Coke also seems to be available. See, we're not like a fucking third world country like Hungary. We have our full assortment of horrible sugar water that can make us obese and diabetic. Always available. What about Pepsi BaalBud flavor? You're not a real gamer unless you're drinking Pepsi BaalBud. That's that weird tree in, was it Australia or Africa? I guess it's Africa because there's giraffes in the back. God knows what that tastes like. But look at these gamer faces soy pogging because they have a weird flavored Pepsi. What about Pepsi? I think the most disgusting sounding one is always Azuki. This is the true God's drink right here. Japanese style cola. Azuki is like the bean paste that Japanese have. That they put in like their mochi and shit like that. Just like just saying it makes me want to fucking puke in my mouth. Red bean paste? Yeah, it's the red bean paste. Oh my god, if I actually Google Azuki right now, guess what we get? We get that fucking awful NFTs. That we're probably going for $100,000 each of these copy-pasted fucking side profile views of anime heads. The ultimate guide to Azuki NFTs, everything you need to know. I wonder when what this was written. April 25th, 2023. Holy shit. They were still writing this shit a year ago. I'm pretty sure, I can't remember the NFT timeline, but I'm pretty sure NFTs were well dead at that point. Wow, those are bad. The ironic part is, among NFTs, those, you know, extremely boring anime profile heads are actually one of the better ones. There are so much worse out there. American companies can't decide if Azuki, Aduki, or Azuki beans. It's the magic of Japanese and how they pronounce shit. Yeah. I'm pretty sure AI is going to be in the same spot that NFTs are today in about a year and a half. Even though, unlike NFTs, AI can actually do shit. just the way in which everybody claims everything is AI right now. Like, I was watching Twitch the other day, and they were advertising something that was basically a Roomba, except they were calling it like an AI cleaning shark or some shit like that. It's a Roomba. People are just like putting the words AI on literally everything right now. And it feels like NFTs, where they were just like desperately trying to find functionality for the product that doesn't really exist. So they were just calling everything NFTs. NFT or crypto and shit like that, those two things. I feel like we're entering that stage with AI right now. Everything is AI. It's like, bro, it's a fucking Roomba. We've had Roombas for the last like 15 years. You don't have to call it AI Roomba or AI Shark or whatever the fuck it is. It's definitely a buzzword, yeah. I mean, none of the things we have right now should be called AI to begin with, considering it's just like learning systems. There's no intelligence there. First movers always profit most. If you're a bad artist that made a Patreon where you clean up AI generated based on not safe for work art from good artists, you might be sitting well right now. The highest I've seen for an AI prompter's Patreon was like $1,000. So about in the same range as me. I haven't seen anyone that was making like being able to live off of it in a non-third world country money so far. There might be one or two of them, but there aren't. I don't think there's any like Sakimi-chan level AI prompters out there. You need like a cult of personality for that much money. I'm from a third world place and I can't live with $1,000. You need to go to an even more third world place. You're in the upper class third world place. Have you ever considered moving to Zimbabwe? This is a trap, by the way. If you actually have money in those true third world countries, then you'll be murdered and robbed within like a few hours, so probably shouldn't move there. This is why everyone's going to move to Japan, especially if the N dollar rate stays the way it is. Everyone's going to be PewDiePie because it's like a safe country, and then your dollar goes like an extra 50% more, so... They're currently trying to generate time-lapse videos and stuff with fake hands to pretend like they're drawing. I don't know, man. I haven't seen many people who are like making the AI porn try and pretend like they're drawing it, though. Because the thing about if you want to be an AI prompter, the whole benefit of AI is that you can shit out stuff extremely quickly. So you can't pretend like you're drawing stuff except for like the dumbest people if you shit out like 200 pictures a day, right? But then if you're going to pretend that you're actually drawing it, then that means you can't produce. So you're kind of abandoning one of your huge advantages. So I don't think there's that many people who pretend that they're drawing their AI pictures themselves. But I don't know, maybe I might not be paying attention. There might be more people who don't have Patreons on Twitter who are pretending like they made their own art. But I'm not sure if what percentage of people are. If you only care about being respected and stuff, obviously you're gonna pretend that you're not a prompter, but I don't see it that often. Minimum wage here is $220, and even with 1,000 is not enough. Economics. Turns out you have to get a job, I guess. Sag. Artists that use AI are a separate group from pure prompters that don't understand art at all. They fear being called out. Prompters are proud. Hashtag prompter proud. Never give in, fellow prompter chads. What we're doing is just as relevant and artistic as those stupid gatekeeping artists. We're the future. Don't give up. Shexio uses AI assistants. Isn't that the person that got famous by blatantly copying Cute Sexy Robots style, and they were like, I'm gonna be someone who is the fairy tale to One Piece, except for big ass Patreon. Yeah, well, you know, if there's someone who just blatantly is gonna copy another person's style for popularity reasons, it's not that weird that they'd also want to use AI. It comes from the same location. You only care if you only care about the results, then you're probably going to be okay with using AI as well. What a way to aim low in the pyramid of priorities. I think he's making a lot of money off of Patreon though, so if all you care about is money, I mean, there's obviously better ways to make money than doing that, but you know, some people just care about their internet points, so. I can't complain too much. I have like 200 gigs of AI porn on my computer for masturbation purposes. So they use AI for their art, then just work on it to make it not look like AI, if I am understanding that correctly. That's pretty low. I mean, there's always been ways to bypass having to draw shit yourself in the art community. You, instead of using a reference photo, you just trace it blatantly. For example, there's always that. AI is just another level of, you know, tomfoolery that you can use to get away, to make shit easier. Whether your customer base has been trained to be okay with that or not is sort of up to you. They're making lots of stupid efforts to avoid making efforts. At the end of the day, if you can just draw it on your first try without using 3D models and without using references and without creating an AI prompt and then drawing over it, then that's going to be fastest and most effective. So, you know, just do what Toriyama does. Just draw it, guys. Easy. Just draw it, bros. No problem. Hashtag just draw. That's what companies are gunning for right now. The AI can't give them exactly what they want, and they don't actually know how to work it half the time, so they need people to clean everything up. I've seen some people complain about art job offers just turn out to be AI cleanup jobs. I've seen that someone was posting on 4chan IC a bunch of Mattel, the toy company's internal corporate stuff, and they were talking about how to use AI and in what processes you were allowed to use AI, and it basically was everything that we don't get published. But to be fair, concept artists have always done similar shit in terms of like photo bashing, where they'll just go online, they'll find a bunch of photos, they'll slap them together and then put like different filters on. Because if you're not publishing something, then you don't have to worry about copyright and shit like that. If it's just internal use, there's quite a lot of leeway that where you can just use shit, because deadlines are the most important thing at the end of the day. Oh, there was a Assassin's Creed, what's the Yasuke game? Shadows, whatever it's called. They did some concept art that apparently they were planning to put in the concept art booklet, and now because Japan is paying attention to the latest Assassin's Creed for historical accuracy and stuff, a lot of people on the Japanese internet noticed that when they looked at this scenery, there was like trucks in the background and power lines and stuff like that. Everyone's like, yo, what the fuck is going on here? And it was probably a combination of photo bashing and AI prompting and stuff, which is fine for internal use. But if it's going to go into the game in some format, like they were planning on selling it as an art book, so in that situation it's definitely not going to be okay. Also probably because Ubisoft uses all this photo bashing and AI prompting and shit, there's a lot of like weird historical accuracies that shouldn't be there, like in the game itself. Like the monkeys that they have in the game are the wrong monkeys for the island of Japan. They're like long-tailed monkeys from like Southeast Asia and shit, which anybody who's ever been to Japan could tell you that there aren't that type of long-tailed monkeys in Japan. Because we've all seen the monkeys in the hot springs videos and shit like that. So, I don't know, this just seems like a way for shitty companies to make their products even shittier instead of doing like the bare minimum that they have to do to make a good product. Pun Pun uses real photos plus filters as backgrounds, right? Are you talking about Oyasumi Pun Pun? There's a lot of Japanese manga authors that will go out and take photos of real locations if it's a manga about modern Japan, and then draw over the photos or put filters on it. Usually if you only put a black and white filter over a photo, it's not going to look right, so they usually just take the time to draw over it. It usually looks pretty good. But you have to be pretty skilled in understanding what lines to accentuate and stuff if you want to do that. So you actually need a lot of skill to do that anyways. It's not really as much of a shortcut as you might think. A lot of anime in recent years just take photos of a real location and then put a filter on top of it, because you know what? They have like a $5 budget. The entire budget is going to the awesome OP opening scene in which all the characters are like spinning around and like fighting 10,000 demons and shit like that. So they have zero budget on the backgrounds at this point. Ball, what do you feel when reading a depressing story? Nothing. I'm serious. I've gotten too desensitized at this point that I no longer care. Already dead inside? I've read enough depressing stories, I don't care anymore. I just stopped reading it. I have to really get deeply involved in a story for it to be depressing. Once it starts to get depressing, I stop reading because I don't want to be depressed. And I can't get depressed immediately because I've become too desensitized. Not even 177013, I don't even know what that is. For example, I was watching Oppenheimer a few hours ago, and it's obviously a pretty depressing story because he's making a nuclear bomb. But then we get to past the point in which he vaporizes Hiroshima, and instead we get to the remaining 30 minutes of the movie where it's entirely about him losing his security clearance while he's having like meetings with Washington DC, and now I'm like, now I truly don't care. Who the fuck cares if Oppenheimer gets to keep his security clearance or not? Is that really what we're going to care about for another 30 minutes? And I guess the answer is yes. Once again, proving why I don't really give a fuck about what's his name, the director's movies at this point. You tried finishing it? I mean, I need something on in the background. I'll try finishing it. It's not great. Just say Shindo L's metamorphosis emergence is sad porn. Are we having a language debate over what's the correct term for infamous depressing hentai? I personally only like Shindo L's content for his Dragon Quest doujins. I don't really care about everything else he does, but I really like his Dragon Quest stuff. I guess deep down I really feel like the Dragon Quest character design females really deserve the monster cock. But I don't feel the same way about, like, I don't know, real life modern day Japan individuals in the same way. But yeah, if you're a Dragon Quest female hero, then I'm gonna jack off to you getting fucked by mummies and stuff. Does Clannad count as Depression Core? I think everything made by Key in that period counts as Depression Core, so yes. I definitely think that Clannad counts as Depression Core. In fact, most eroge from a certain time period are Depression Core. They were really going for it. There was a distinct period in eroge where eroge producers were like, we have to make sure that this person is crying all over himself when he ejaculates. It's the only way to prove that we're art. Look how sad you feel when you come. How do you rate Welcome to NHK on the depression scale? Not that depressing. I count Welcome to NHK much more like comedy than depressing. Second best type of cum next to choke jerk. What about when your prostate is getting stimulated from inside? What about that? No, there's a cute girl taking care of me. I'm so sad. I better masturbate and make an eroge with my best friend. I think it's comedy. I don't think it's supposed to be that depressing. If you find Welcome to NHK super depressing, it's probably because it reminds you too much of your own life. So you're like, oh shit, I probably should stop playing Final Fantasy XI. It's relatable and funny and slightly depressing, but it's not too depressing. They wanted both your heart and cock to weep with feelings. I haven't played any of the Key video games. Not Clannad, not Air, none of that. I just don't want my eroge to tell me that I should be crying about bishojos being sad and stuff like that. It's not really my thing. I need to make sure that those bratty Taimanin get the demon orc cock. And only I can do that. If I don't jack off to Taimanin content, who is going to? I don't have any sperm to be wasted on cry eroge that's trying to, you know, stimulate my tear ducts instead of my cock. The sad nerd character had a good ending. He gets married to Farm Girl, but his whole story arc was depressing. I think I'm just getting too old. I'm pretty sure... I feel like everybody in Welcome to NHK had a pretty uplifting story arc. I think I'm older than you guys, so I'm more resistant to like the total depths of depravity and horrible loss that people can reach. Mr. Ball, please become an MS Paint artist, thanks. Yeah, that's a joke. We're not actually going to use MS Paint. Don't use MS Paint, guys. There are better drawing programs out there. Now the Taimanin are getting fucked by non-hentai gacha. It's not the Taimanin that are getting fucked, it's your wallet. The only person truly getting fucked by gacha is your wallet, as usual. And possibly your sanity. Get off his lawn? Yeah, get off my lawn, kids. I fucking hate lawns to begin with, so to get the kids off my lawn, I'm going to remove the lawn and then like put in a bunch of spikes or something. Like those spikes they put on walls and stuff so that the pigeons can't sit there and shit over everything. That's my plan. I'm just gonna have a spike-filled lawn. Is this when you inherit the house? If I do inherit the house, I'm just gonna sell it. I'm not gonna stay in this town forever. I can't guarantee anything with my mother, though. Alright, I have to take a piss. Be right back. Oh, I need to pee! Oh. 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 The face with no piss bottle? I do have a thermos here, but it's not my piss bottle. Oh, it's getting hot in here. Oh. Any more grunts will be a separate Patreon tier. Starting to sound like a male Dark Souls 1 character. I don't know. The Elden Ring character that I'm playing, the voice, when he gets killed, he makes a oh noise. Oh. Oh, oh, oh. Are you as ripped as this elf lady? Not anymore. I'm getting old. My weight is the same, but I think there's like 2% more fat than there used to be. I'll take that at 37 though. That's good enough. Whatever level of fitness I'm at right now, it's good enough for me. I'm not trying to be a GQ model. I'm fit enough. I can run 10 miles a day without, you know, dying, so that's good enough for me. If we ever get into a zombie situation, I'll be able to cardio my way out of it as long as the zombies aren't like sprinters. So everything sucks around here. Don't let yourself go hollow, chat. Better than most American 37-year-olds? Yeah. Until your leg decides to act up? Yeah. The leg is a problem. It's a neurological issue, so there's not much I can do about it. Just gotta stay vigilant and cope. Work around the situation. I wonder if this character is related to Zana or is it just another weird dark elf? You're not allowed to speculate on stream. Are you still door dashing? No, because I'm drawing manga every day. I could be door dashing, but the main reason I started door dashing was because I couldn't force myself to just sit and draw manga all day, and then like my break from drawing manga would be to like play video games, and I'd still be sitting in the same place. So I was like, I can't handle this. I need to go outside, and if I'm not gonna be making money, I'm just gonna be spending money and wasting money. So that's why I started door dashing. But now I realize that's cope. If I want to be something in life, I have to keep on drawing my manga. I can't just be like, no, I can't draw 12 hours of manga a day. It's like, no, actually you have to. Stop fucking coping and distracting yourself just because you're making money door dashing. You need to go all in. You're gonna die soon, so... Is it even good money? It probably depends where you're door dashing. I made on average a little bit above $20 an hour door dashing, if you calculated it. So that's a solid income. Although I don't include the gasoline expenses in that, but I have a hybrid car, so the gas wasn't that big a deal. If you only considered it to just be like something you did to get out of the house, it was a pretty good income. How often did people tip? Often enough, and you wouldn't pick up the order if they weren't tipping, is how you do it. One-fourth kobold, one-fourth elf, one-fourth orc, one-fourth elf. What would that look like? You wouldn't know, you just put it down. I try so hard and go so far, but in the end it doesn't even matter. God damn it, chat. Appreciate me more. Look how hard I'm working right now. Sorry, BB, but it looks just okay. Sorry. That's okay. I'm sorry that I have to time you out. You made me do this, chat. God, having authority over my own fans feels awesome. Imagine being a generous and noble king when instead you could just be a tyrant. Feels good, man. Literally 1984, yes. 2 plus 2 does not equal 4 if I say it doesn't. Otherwise we won't learn, that's right. You must give them pain. It's the only way they can become better human beings. The beatings will continue until morale improves. What is that from? I used that recently as a Elden Ring title. There's all these meme terms that I use that I can't even remember what it's originally from. Have you seen the Hawk Tua meme? No. Someone asked me to draw it though, and I was like, sure, I'll definitely draw it. I was lying because I'm busy drawing 30 pages of manga, unfortunately. What is it about? Can someone explain it to me? I didn't actually click on any of the leaks, even though when you Google, the first thing that you Google, if you start with Hawk, it's probably the first thing that shows up. Hawk Tua. Blowjobs? Is that what it's meaning? The meaning of Hawk Tua translates to spitting, and the internet has latched onto this girl's animated demonstration of the act. Her vigorous and natural spitting response has fascinated millions, making the meme an instant hit. Apparently she's getting her own reality show. Who is the Hawk Tua Girl viral TikTok meme? Hawk Tua Girl comedy songs. Jesus Christ, the internet is leaving me behind. And I guess I'm okay with that. Keep my brain empty of this nonsense. At the end of the day, I never really looked up the video of Two Girls, One Cup, even though everyone was talking about it during college. Like, have you seen Two Girls, One Cup? And I'm like, no. How do I see it? Actually, I don't care. So I think this is fitting in that same category. Females do something that is either disgusting or stupid, and then everyone's like, oh my god! This is going so viral! And I'm like, yeah, whatever. That's cool. I'm not interested in the meme unless it's like a gorilla spinning. It's not based and red-pilled enough. Women do disgusting and stupid things literally every day. Why should we get excited about another one? Lemon Party was the superior shock image. Huh, what was Lemon Party about? Actually, don't tell me. I don't want to know either. I don't know in either... Well, I don't want to know either case. Hawk Tua back in the day, we call it something like hawking a loogie. Yeah, that's what we'd say back in the day. It's sad how all the language is changing to the fucking Zoomer language. Why is it that Zoomers always have to invent the words? Why can't us Boomers also invent some new words as well? Old people should just start randomly inventing words just like young people. Just to fuck with the young people. Like, don't you know that's our new word? That's our boomer word. There's way more old people in this country than young people anyway, so they'd have a huge advantage. Boom, boom. Damn, this music is making me want to replay Ocarina of Time or something. Look up Pain Olympics? No, I won't, thank you. I didn't know what Goatsy was, and you were like, oh no, I have to inform him. He's so unprepared for this modern world. If he doesn't see that gaping asshole of Goatsy, what will he do when it shows up on his next test in college? Tub Girl is just someone shitting on themselves. Yeah, all this stuff isn't special once you're my age. Like, I don't have a camera on me and I'm not a female, but, you know, I can shit on myself whenever I want to. It's just something that occurs naturally as you get older, so we don't make a big deal out of it anymore. We're just like, yeah, I shit myself again. Not a big deal. Ha. Just clean up and keep on going. Tub Girl also has a prolapsed asshole, if I recall. LMAO. Haha, those silly females with their prolapsed assholes. When will they stop sticking large objects up their ass? You also bleed yourself. Again, not particularly special. Hemorrhoids are an extremely common medical condition. It only seems like they're uncommon because people don't want to talk about them, but I go out of my way. She's shooting goldfish out of her butt. Well, at least that's slightly different. On the other hand, goldfish die sad deaths every day, so I guess that's not that different either. It's just another situation of Mr. Hoodywinks. I forgot the name of the gerbil that was put up Mr. Slave's ass. Something Winks. Baal is the only real streamer talking about his piss sink habits and bleeding asshole. Are we sure about that? We were just talking about Boogie and Boogie possibly faking his cancer, and apparently his big excuse for not providing people with evidence that he has cancer was because he wants to keep his medical stuff private, and everyone else was pointing out that he has never kept anything private ever. So I think Boogie is oversharing as well. I mean, DSP inadvertently jacked off on stream, so he's shared way more than me. I can only hope to follow in the footsteps of such titans. These giants among men, literally, who awe us with their complete lack of ability to hide the fact that they're shitting and coming on camera. Lemmy winks, yes, thank you. Boogie would fake shitting out of his asshole. If he thought that he could get more donations and then people would feel sorry for him, he might actually start shitting in a bathtub. Who knows? Boogie rejected $5,000 for an image of the diagnosis record. Meanwhile, he's rotting in a house of Funkos. Again, reinforcing my theory that if you're overweight, you have some serious problems with your personality as well, and you're probably kind of fucked up and a bad person. There's like acceptable levels of overweight where you can see where it's just like a normal person hasn't been keeping in shape, and then there's levels of overweight that you end up reaching when you're you have some serious personality or mental issues, and those people usually are not good people. So fat people are awful humans. I'm glad our chat can come together agreeing on this point, considering that most of chat is also overweight. Just kidding. I know a lot of you are Europeans, so you're not overweight. Even if you guys say that you're overweight, you're not overweight on the American scale. We got that shit locked down. True Europeans can never know the Amerifat. You're not free enough to be as fat as we are. Japanese can truly not understand how fat Americans get. If you're in Japan and you'll see like a guy who would be an average American level of fatness on the subway, you're like, holy shit, look at that fat fuck. Whereas in America, he'd just be like a normal person. Japanese are completely unprepared for American levels of obesity if like a truly fat American shows up in Japan. They generally won't come to Japan because they literally can't fit through like doors and sit in chairs and stuff like that, but the Japanese are definitely not ready for that shit. AI could conclude that guns make people fat. I think guns make people skinnier. Because, you know, when you get shot, then you die and then your body starts to decompose and you lose weight. Only slightly overweight by American standards. He is the weakest of us, our Americans. Pathetic. He's not even using an electric scooter to chauffeur himself around in Walmart. Would Japanese just say, look at that sumo? Not really. Although sumo wrestlers, once they go out into Japanese society, they do look like massive lumbering beasts. The thing about sumo wrestlers is a lot of them are also just like tall and big in general. So it looks more like a moving mountain instead of just like a fat fuck. They also have extremely firm lower bodies and stuff like that. So it's not the same as the untrained American who doesn't really have the capability to move around. It's like seeing a hippo in the wild, basically. You're like, oh damn, that sumo wrestler is so fat, how silly. But if it starts charging at you, you're gonna die, so you can't really make fun of it. Whereas the traditional American obese guy is just gonna, you know, fall down and smash his face, so. Japanese portions are much smaller unless it's ramen or shredded cabbage. The thing about Japanese portions is that you can find large-ass portions if you look for them. There's a lot of Japanese places that serve insane amounts of food and really large things of food for relatively cheap prices. However, they're not common. The standard Japanese size is just way lower than American size. Like, this is a Japanese channel that I like watching. But he just goes to places. And then they give you their large portions. This is like a 4 kilo of tonkatsu, which isn't even that large. It's basically the size of, like, not his face, but like 2 or 3 faces. That looks good. I could use something like that. It's only a mere 4 kilo of pork cutlet. Beef bowls is better than ramen, in my opinion. I don't know. I think ramen can be a wider variety of flavors. Beef bowls are generally all the same. Slightly larger than average dinner, LOL. Yes. By American standards, this is normal size. 4 kilos of tonkatsu, not a big deal. My guy will blow crazy after this. The Japanese large eating people, they never get fat. I assume that they all have like some serious inefficient intestines and stuff where they can't absorb all the calories properly and it just goes through them. That's the only way that will explain it, because none of them are fat. If you aren't shitting logs every single day, you aren't eating enough. Keikona clap. God bless America. What have you done? I have to go eat now. This is what is called meshitero in Japanese, which means like food terrorism, in which a Japanese TV show will show some really good looking food and now you're hungry and you have to go eat it. It's especially dangerous if you do that shit in the middle of the night when other restaurants and stuff aren't open. I want 2 double quarter pounders. Hey, hell yeah, Keikona clap. Keikona clap, brother. That's only 3,000 calories, boys. Eat 5 large meals a week for videos and work 15 hours at an office job and burn all the calories. Well, they have to keep on stretching their stomach, so... I do think they all have some sort of digestion inefficiency going on, or else they would probably be gaining weight. Another thing to get chastised over there added to the list. Japanese won't chastise gaijin because they expect nothing from you. They're just like, feh, it's another gaijin. Ignoring the laws of our honorable country. He should be ashamed, but we'll let him pass because he knows no better. Mukbang is really gross. I'm going to be honest. There is some Korean food that I like, but a lot of Korean food that I see them eating in mukbang are just like kind of shitty looking. I've noticed that while I like kimchi and like spicy food that makes up like 70% of Korean food variety, like most of their food is just like some sort of spicy thing variant, some sort of kimchi variant, some sort of melted cheese on beef variant, and some sort of like cooked beef variant. It's probably pretty good in most cases, but I don't know. I don't think I want that to be my primary diet. How do I become an honorable gaijin? By observing how Japanese people behave and move through their society, and then don't do really stupid shit that will piss off Japanese people. That's sort of like the starting line for the whole situation. The cheese is my least favorite aspect of Korean food. I'm pretty sure they didn't have that much melted cheese back in the day, like 10 years ago. Isn't that more of a recent development? Like, I don't think there was that much melted cheese when I was growing up, when I would eat Korean food. Like, bibimbap doesn't have melted cheese in it. That was what you would get at the local Korean restaurant and stuff. Have you ever heard of cheese tea? No. Asians are obsessed with cheese and corn? Not really. Japan has way less cheese than you would think. It's actually pretty hard to get cheese in Japan. I think there's like some sort of embargo on cheap American cheese. So cheese is always really expensive, and you don't get a lot of it in Japan. I don't know how it is in Korea. Melted cheese is a street food thing, huh? It's not like I dislike melted cheese, but I'm not sure I want it in every situation, I guess. Chigyu bros, not like this. Yeah. The fact that now the most popular derogatory term to be aimed at men in Japan in 2024 is calling them somebody that eats cheese gyudon is all you need to know about how cheese is viewed in Japanese society. It's like baby food. They're basically calling you a fucking pathetic baby who has to eat delicious cheese on beef, which doesn't make sense because it tastes so good. Milk products are much expensive in America. Much more expensive than America is what I think you want to say. Milk products are cheap as fuck in America. It's like, here take this 6-gallon container of milk for 50 cents. Because there's a ton of farm subsidies for American dairy farmers who have somehow psyoped society into thinking that if we don't drink 10 million gallons of milk per day, we're just all going to die from osteoporosis immediately. That would explain why they aren't as fat too. Are you saying that eating 10 pounds of cheese a day is bad for my health and it's going to make me fat? No. This cannot be. I don't believe you. You can't even eat your natto and toast without cheese. Gross. Cheese head at the table. I ate a bunch of natto for lunch, actually. Because I didn't feel like cooking anything. I was like, this is both healthy and efficient. $0.50 milk, damn, give us that. I'm exaggerating, but it's actually closer to like, I think it was like $2 for a gallon in my area. If you're getting like non-organic standard milk. It's like $2, I think. It was pretty fucking cheap. I was drinking non-organic milk, but my mother is a big organic believer. So she was like, you have to start drinking organic milk now, considering you don't pay rent. So I was like, fine. It's not like she drinks it. She just wants me to not get cancer. Our milk is 5 and up now. There's a wide variety in pricing for milk, depending on the brand, or whether it's organic or not, or whether it's like free range, all that shit. It can really vary quite a bit. The cheapest one really is still like in that $2, $3 range. You get bone cancer. I'm pretty sure milk is another one of those things where we don't really know if it's providing any benefits for bone density or not. This, which is like the way that most foods work, right? Is that they'll do a fucking study and then it might or might not have an effect, and they're not even sure about the correlation versus causation and stuff like that for food. Milk is at least $5 here. You live in a special future state in which only the richest princes can afford to live there. Organic milk is extremely expensive for the same shit. You have to hope that whatever it is that they're putting in the normal milk is, you know, properly being tested. But there's no guarantee that it is, right? There's a high chance that organic milk is just as full of all the same pesticides and hormones and stuff that you're trying to avoid. I've just started using soy milk for myself because it's cheaper and better for me. I can't do soy milk for when I want to eat stuff that are like animal fat based desserts like cookies or Rice Krispie treats and stuff. I gotta have my cow milk, so there's actually a guarantee LMAO. They're not allowed to use hormones anymore. I think that's regardless of whether it's organic or not. But I'm saying is that, like, how often are they testing that shit? I'm just skeptical about organic claims. I think you can get away with a lot of stuff. I don't trust FDA and stuff regarding with frequently testing. I think there's places that slip by. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We're all gonna die anyways. Alright guys, I'm gonna end the stream here and then go down and sleep in the basement. See you around. Just grinding out here, trying to complete my comics. Good night. See you around.